These are the best light machine guns in every Call of Duty Zombies game. One nomination per game, and I'll try to be as objective as I can, but let's be honest, these are my personal favourites. Like, comment, subscribe, and let's get into it. WAW-Zombies gave us 3 light machine guns, and to be honest, the Browning could have easily made this choice as it's a pretty reliable, light machine gun, and its iron sights are pretty cool. However, the MG42 is undeniably the best light machine gun in the game in my opinion. Fast fire rate, incredible damage output, but more importantly is the reload speed. World at War is the most clunky zombies game out of them all, so having fast mobility and, reload speed is obviously important. Whilst all the LMGs in this game aren't exactly that mobile and, they're very sluggish to move around with, at the very least the MG makes up for it with its very fast reload speed, comparable to that of the PPSH, although a little slower. Overall, this weapon is very reliable, even on the higher rounds, and my choice for the best LMG in the game. Moving on to Black Ops, and we only have a choice of 2 here, and my nomination is obviously the RPK. Whilst I think that the HK21 is kind of underrated, and it has a pretty good damage output, the RPK is just better, let's be honest. It doesn't have nearly the same amount of ammo, but it has a way higher damage output by having, way more accuracy and a much faster, rate of fire between the 2 guns. I think the HK is definitely underrated and one of the better LMGs in Zombies, but I mean, this is a no-brainer. There's really nothing to say about the RPK, it's just the better option of the 2, and it would be easily my choice for the best LMG in the game. On to Black Ops 2, and this one was way more tricky for me to rank, as not only are there more LMGs, however, you could genuinely make an argument for all of them being the best LMG in the game, aside from the RPD, sadly. It was ultimately between the MG08 and the LSAT, however, I think the LSAT personally edges it out just a little bit more because it was the only one out of the 4 to actually be a war weapon out of, the 4 LMGs. The MG08 is probably the most powerful one as it has a hidden gimmick where the bullets ricochet when you pack-a-punch it between the zombies. However, let's be honest, the LSAT is just incredible. Incredible, rate of fire, accuracy, damage output, the lot, really. Higher damage output than the RPD and also way more accuracy and fire rate. I also really like the blue bullets. I know it has absolutely no effect on the gun statistically, but it's just something that I like. Overall, I think that this LMG was the most reliable out of the 4, more accurate than the hammer, more powerful than the RPD, and on more maps than the MG08, and it was the only war weapon of the 4, which in my opinion makes it deserve the spot as the best LMG in Black Ops 2. With the introduction of double pack-a-punch, all of the LMGs in Black Ops 3 and subsequent games, to be honest, just became really overpowered. And to be fair, all of these 4 LMGs, if they were placed in other games, would actually be the best ones in the game. However, out of these 4, realistically, it's gotta be the Dingo. I know it's cliche, but honestly, what do you expect? Incredible DPS, accuracy, ammo, the lot, really. And it's the only LMG of the 4 to actually have a medium movement speed, comparable to that of an assault rifle. The other LMGs aren't bad. In fact, I think they're all kind of underrated. The Dredge being a burst fire LMG was something we never seen before in Zombies, and it was pretty good. The Gorgon, whilst being shit for training, is actually really good for camping, and the BRM, whilst a lesser Dingo, is still pretty good. Shout out to the RPK as well. It was buffed in Black Ops 3, and unfortunately, whilst you can't put attachments on it, it's still comparable to the Dingo. However, the Dingo you can put attachments on, making it even more overpowered than the others, making it the best one in the game. With Black Ops 4, it was once again a process of elimination, as all of these LMGs are pretty good, to be fair. Well, maybe not all of them. The BKM is probably the worst, as its fire rate is just abysmal, and the Titan, whilst being a wall weapon, is just nowhere near as good as the LSAT was. So it was between the Zweihander and the Hades, and ultimately the Hades edged out slightly purely because you could customize it. Seriously, attachments really do make a difference in this game, as you can up the damage of your guns and pretty much change them to be however you want them to be. The Zweihander is by no means bad, in fact it's easily one of the best in Zombies, but the Hades is making it to this spot just because it's slightly better in my opinion. Amazing rate of fire, pretty good reload speed for an LMG of this size, and even though it's pretty slow, pretty much all the LMGs in this game were slow, so you can't really hold it against the Hades for that. The crossbar attachment, sorry, sorry, is actually not that bad. You know, it could be better, could be worse. If you could give it like a better attachment, like maybe the Dragonfire bullets, that'd be really cool. But ultimately, this is the best LMG in the game, although you really don't need to use LMGs in this game just because how good the Helion Salvo is. Now for Cold War Zombies, and in my opinion, this was the worst the LMGs have ever been. Purely because of how fast-paced the game was, there was no reason to use an LMG. And if you used it over an SMG or a shotgun, it literally just felt like a handicap. And to be fair, I'm not wrong in thinking that, because the M60 and MG42 in this game were some of the worst weapons in the game. The Stoner and the RPD, on the other hand, were pretty decent, nothing mind-blowing, and if I had to recommend one over the other, I'd recommend the RPD, purely because of how massive the clip size is. I mean, look at the gameplay here. What the fuck, man? A 260 bullet clip? Like, are you fucking joking? That shit's insane. The Stoner, I'm pretty sure, has a higher DPS, even if it's only slightly higher, and its reload speed is also slightly faster, but I mean, it's Cold War Zombies. Just put a fucking attachment on your gun, you know, the speed mag or whatever the fuck, get even faster fire rate, you know, reload speed, anything you like. Realistically, the LMGs should be avoided in this game. They're just not as good as the SMGs or assault rifles. However, they're by no means terrible, and the RPD is the one that I would personally recommend due to the clip size, if I'm being completely honest. So that was the video, guys. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the